Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Hello, welcome once again to our Energies and Opportunities monthly broadcast, broadcasting today, November 22nd, looking at the remainder of November and going into the whole month of December 2025. I want to just kind of take a pause and look with all of you. We've been together, many of you have been with us all year, 2025, some of you for many years. For those of you who are new, we introduced the year 2025 back in January as being the year of pushing the bounds of possibility in a time of tumultuous change. So we just want to ask you, so we can get a little pat on the back, did we name the year right?
Enough tumultuous change.
Have we been pushing the bounds of possibility? So we have a name for the new year for 2026, and it is Birthing New Consciousness as Technology Transforms Our World.
Yeah.
So we're excited for this upcoming year. Let's take a look at how 2025 is going to close up. But before we do that, we just want to welcome all of you, let you know, and if you are new to our community, we're delighted to have you with us. You're welcome. All of you are welcome to share. Let your friends know that this broadcast we do every month, and everybody's welcome. So what we do is we'll be sharing with you the unique planetary patterns that are forming now, and also for the coming month of December. I'm Carol Eastwood.
And I'm Chetan Parkin.
And we're broadcasting today, the 22nd of November, from evolutionaryhumandesign.com. And first, a brief announcement before we reveal what's coming next. Our holiday reading special, produced once per year, is now open. You can use it for yourself or you can give it as a gift. It includes a personal 90-minute deep dive human design reading with Chetan, who will illuminate your design in a way that will empower your success forever. It's a powerful reading. Our holiday reading special also includes a bonus, a 60-minute human design coaching session with me. Use that to deepen your mastery of living your design as I guide you in how to apply your design in every significant area of your life. So if you'd like to learn more about it, go to our website, evolutionaryhumandesign.com. Go up to the Readings tab, click down to Holiday Reading Special, and read all about it there. If you'd like to take advantage of this special, we would love to open up what your design looks like for you, how you can best use it, especially in this coming time with all the changes, and have an opportunity to empower you moving forward with everything that you want to accomplish with your life in 2026. So let's see what the universal energies have in store for us at this point in time. Chetan, you want to begin?
So my role is always to go into the human design side of things and see what's going on there. And just a few days back, we had a new moon. Sky was completely blacked out, just the stars, and the sun and the moon together in hexagram number 14. And those of you familiar with human design will know this is in the top side of the sacral center in the human design chart. And it's the gateway of, I call it prosperity, possession in great measure. It's foundational thing for the whole appreciation for wealth. We might say going back several generations in time, it was the goddess Demeter who represented the harvest, the cornucopia, the massive amount of produce that can happen in the world. So the 14 really stands on that as a place where we can recognize wealth. It's one of those funny things, the hexagram, because when you look at the hexagram and you start off with the first line of it, and the first line always gives you a foundation for what this hexagram is all about. And it basically says, do what you love. Right? If you're going to do anything, just do what you love. And there is that saying, the money will follow, but of course you have to then align yourself with the way in which money can find you. But the whole thing is like really putting your life force energy into something, really engaging with it so strongly. The new moon happens with the 14 and the fourth line, which is a kind of externalizing of the first line. And its placement in a very fixed life theme. And the fixed life theme is the one we call prosperity. So I'm just saying at this new moon, it's a great time to be kind of considering where one's life is going. What are the things that one does in life? And are they things that I really love doing? Or am I just kind of putting up with a job or kind of shuffling through things just to make ends meet? Mm. We know that we're moving in tumultuous times, and we're moving out of tumultuous times where we have to birth a new consciousness, literally change the way we play the game of life completely. And so this new moon gives us a very particular kickoff into this whole new arena of engaging, allowing ourselves to recognize prosperity, wealth, abundance, all of these great characteristics that make life so much easier when it happens in a flow for us. Along with this new moon, Mercury is also in that same portion of the sky as well. Mercury is in a retrograde motion, kind of rearranging our thought patterns, our communication style and things, and just getting us lined up with something very different. So coincident with this is the life theme we call uncertainty. And there's no question about it. We live in uncertain times. And it's just that thing of recognizing prosperity is basically something we recognize inside ourselves. You can feel prosperous with $1 or $1 million. It's just a sensation inside ourselves. What I'm trying to aim us towards, our attention towards, is engaging with something that we love to do that much. And even if we're not in love with our particular work and our lifestyle, just kind of shifting the energy into being really present and really available for what it is that life has given us to do at this time. All right? It's not a comparative thing. It's not like somebody's got a better deal than I have. It's basically recognizing I'm on with this thing. I'm engaging with it. I'm going to give it my best. I'm going to go for it. And if I do that, then I'm going to recognize, I'm naturally opening up for the possibility of prosperity and abundance in my life. Within a few days, the sun goes into the 34. This is a gateway of power. It opens up this life theme, this very mysterious life theme we call the sleeping phoenix. And, this particular 3420 channel, which is a manifesting generator channel, so all of us are going to be very busy from the 22nd onward, all the way up until December the 1st. So it's kind of the Thanksgiving time in America, that season, the Black Friday and Pink Thursday and all kinds of different things are going on. So just realizing there's a lot of energy coming out in that time. And, it's had this new moon with the energy of reacquainting ourselves with what it feels like to be prosperous. Mm-hmm. How do we aim ourselves? How do we align ourselves with birthing this new consciousness, like literally shaking up our whole lifestyle, everything that we're doing? So it's a very particular time in the month. Come the 25th, we have Mercury starts going direct again, and it does that in the 43. And the 43 is the gateway of insight. Like literally insight. It's not something on the outside that triggers it. It's an insight. It's a personal recognition of something. Like all of a sudden, we get a completely different perspective on how we're going forward. So I'm saying the end of November kind of lines us up with this possibility to really rearrange our approach to life, prosperity in the earth plane, in engaging here, and also allowing ourselves to just be open to a new insight and to a new possible way of recognizing everything that goes on around us. So what's going on astrologically?
Well, I'll back up to the same point. Just 2 days ago, on the 19th of November, we had a new moon. You were talking about this very powerful new moon. New moon begins a new cycle, a new 30-day cycle. We have one, every once a month. This one on November 19th is, particularly powerful. It happens in the sign of Scorpio, the moon and the sun together at 28 degrees of Scorpio, along with along with Mercury, retrograde, as you mentioned, so apparent backwards motion, but also at 28 degrees of Scorpio. So we've got the new moon exactly combust a retrograde Mercury. What does this mean? Well, essentially, if we look at the big grand scale of it, this new moon with this retrograde Mercury moves into a point in the chart where it forms this huge grand triangle in the sky with several other planets. And it's a phenomenal aspect that actually is going to keep going throughout the rest of November and on in through December. It's going to keep going. The sun and the moon, of course, will move out of that placement in Scorpio, but other planets are going to be moving in. So we're going to have a containment of this huge grand trine. What does a grand trine mean? It's a flow of energy. So what we have at this new moon, and it'll be very welcome after the lack of flow that we've had in the past several weeks with, the US government shutdown and all this kind of crazy stuff happening in the world, that, it's a time of awakening. It's a time of opening, new possibilities dawning. Uranus, the planet of awakening to higher dimensions, is at the apex of this big grand triangle in Taurus. Jupiter there also in the sign of Cancer. Looking at with Jupiter and Cancer, we're aware of what is it that we need to do to nurture ourselves and to nurture our loved ones. How is it that we can really care for ourselves? Are we human doings or are we human beings? Are we here? Are we here to have a life? Or are we here just to produce? And at some point, humanity just has got to, take a turn. And I think this is the dawning of the time when, and of course, we've also had the awakening, the advent of AI, which potentially could lead us to a point in time when human beings don't have to work so hard at some of the basics of life, where we can allow some things to happen on automatic pilot, freeing us for our creativity, for our families, for our interactions, for the things that we really love to do, and the ways that only human beings can bring value, which is through our higher spiritual awareness. So this awakening is happening here at this new moon, awakening to higher dimensions, awakening not just to those higher dimensions, but to how we can access those higher dimensions and bring them in practical ways and give them expression. So I say that because Saturn and Neptune together in Pisces, part of this big grand triangle in the water signs. Saturn represents the structures that support our vision and our most cherished principles, the structures that we put around what we believe to be true. And Neptune represents our beliefs, our spiritual awareness. So we're seeing these two planets together. We have an opportunity to take our spiritual awareness and bring it into practical expression. So it's not just something that we do on Sunday. It's something we live and we bring to life within us in everything that we do, in every way that we move throughout every day of them. That's the potential here. So bring ourselves into balance, returning to those values of family, home, what really matters to us, awakening to higher possibilities and higher principles. All of that being catalyzed here at this very, very powerful new moon. The fact that Mercury's retrograde, just meaning that we're kind of going back over old ground. Time to review some of our past intentions, some of our past decisions and actions that we've taken in the light of emerging new values, and they are emerging rapidly. Mars is the planet that has to do with our work in the world. It's in Sagittarius, and it's forming an aspect that's asking us to rework our future plans based on now our current needs and our current vision. So perfect time to be doing that while Mercury's retrograde, and Mercury's retrograde until the 29th of this month. So all the way through the last week of November. And then soon Venus is going to come along also in Scorpio, bringing some breakthroughs with our current monetary dilemmas. So we'll see that as well. So all of this through the last part of November.
So at this time, right towards the end of the month of November. The sun goes into, as I said, the 34, the gateway of power. It opened up the life theme we call the sleeping phoenix. And in the last couple of days of this particular life theme, or what the sun placement in the 34, it goes into the life theme we call duality. And, you know, the timing is always amazing because in America, it's the great season of Thanksgiving and, you know, coming together, being with one's family again. And recognizing in this year of tumultuous change, you know, so many things have changed, so many points of view have changed, so many people's appreciation for the political life, the spiritual life, the material life have changed. And so there's definitely going to be some very interesting discussions in America when families get together and just see how the world has moved around them and how it's affected their points of view. So that life theme of duality, basically it has the channel of 2034, which is this channel being really busy. So all of us kind of letting know how busy we are and how life is taking us along at full speed. But it also comes with the channel of 3740, which is all about community and family and, you know, breaking bread together and good meals and good conversations and things. So my recommendation for discussions at this time is just take it easy. Nobody really knows where the world is going at the moment. It's just, we have to birth a new consciousness. We have to birth a new way of appreciating everything. And love is the only game in town here. It's the only thing happening in this universe. It's just sometimes we go very odd ways of expressing it or appreciating it. So the month goes on, the sun then goes into gateway number 9. We open up the life theme of planning. So we kind of, in the 27th of the month, we get to identify what it is we're kind of really prioritizing in our world. Family has to be one of those things. And if it's not family, then it's clients and customers, it's our neighborhood, it's the community around us.
It's our people, isn't it?
It's our peeps. Saturn does a turn, I think, on the 26th of the month. It's been in retrograde motion and all of a sudden it decides, let's go forward again. It's in gate 36, which is the very last gateway in the emotion center of the human design. So for these last years, Saturn has been kind of reacquainting ourselves with our spirituality. And in the next weeks ahead, it's going to join Neptune once again in gateway number 25, the gateway of innocence. And so it's just, all of us were born innocent. We have to recognize when we die, we're going to be innocent because we can't really plot where we're going to go exactly. You know, but in the meantime, we get all this kerfuffle and chaos and all the things we put all our energy into. And it's just a beautiful reminder when Saturn joins Neptune again in this gateway of the 25, the gateway of innocence, just to reacquaint ourselves, you know, with, what was it? Socratic wisdom. The only thing I know is I don't know. And taking it from there. And it just opens us up to be able to engage with this new age that's coming, this new consciousness. I don't know. I really don't know. And being honest about that. You know, this is what appears to be going on around me. But life has a very particular adventure for me. And I'm ready for it. I'm embracing it. And so we go out of the merry month of November through this life theme we call identification, where we're kind of really looking and describing our world around us and kind of taking it in a very different way. We get into the 3rd of the month of December, and the sun goes into the gateway number 5, which is the gateway of universal rhythm. And it's timing, and it's waiting, and it's patience, and it's the gateway that connects into all life forms. Anything that has the vaguest kind of a pulse is subject to this 5th gateway, the gateway of timing. And so just again, it puts us back on record. Am I in time with my life? Or am I racing around on some crazy schedule that has nothing to do with reality? You know, am I stuck in a 90-mile-an-hour traffic jam on the freeway somewhere? So just a reminder for all of us. As the sun goes into the 5th gateway, the earth goes into the gateway number 35. And it joins with Saturn, and I just said is now going forward in gateway number 36. We have the channel of, I call it versatility, in that it opens us up to having all kinds of different experiences, sometimes in rapid form. You know, it's a short attention span channel. You know, been there, done that. What else is interesting? And this goes on up until the 8th of the month. Pluto at the same time now moves forward. It goes forward into gateway number 41 again. It did a little bit of backtrap into gateway number 60, the gateway of limitations. And it just said, why do we need to hold ourselves back with things? And the 41 literally is this particular gateway. It's the start codon. It's like, you're lined up on the blocks and the starter's got the gun, and you're ready to race. And the gun goes off and Pluto doesn't exactly move at light speed, but it basically says there's a transformation coming for all of us in this time. And just to be ready for it, to be relaxed in it. I'm going to talk about the full moon in the next time, but let you carry on, finish off November, and then come back and equate that one.
Right. Okay, so looking at the very last part of November, we've got a third, a first quarter moon on November 27th, which is in America is Thanksgiving Day. It's a big family holiday. No accident that's happening around this time. We have this community channel that's been active, this time of coming together. And we still have this beautiful, big, flowing grand triangle in the sky. So we have, we've got the planets Jupiter, Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury and Venus together, all in the water signs. And the water signs have to do with psychic and intuitive ability. They have to do with sensitivity. They have to do with our feeling nature. So we have the potential with this, and this grand trine, as I've been sharing with you, it goes on throughout the month. It's for a whole month, which is unusual. We usually have, if we have a grand trine, often it's just for a few days. But to have one lasting this long is a real blessing, and it's unusual. So how do we really align ourselves with the possible blessing that we can receive from this grand trine? Well, we need to be able to listen to our higher self. So some meditation, some contemplation, some going inwards, some perhaps some time spent in gratitude and appreciation. There's so much focus out there. If you're listening to the news and you're on your phone, you're watching what's happening in the world, we're getting really a skewed view. It's like one emergency after another, and all those things may be happening, but the backdrop is there's a lot of health and well-being here. There's a lot of love here. There are many families who are healthy, who are supporting each other, who are, we have people coming together. We have whole movements of people coming together to sort of bring balance to the world politically. And we can see that playing out in America in particular with the Republicans and the Democrats, and the fact that they've been so far apart and they're going to be forced to try to find some middle ground. So finding the balance, finding this place of equilibrium is something that all of humanity is really being encouraged, I'll say, to do. I mean, the opportunity to do this is huge. So this grand trine, it remains active for some time. Mercury and Venus together in Scorpio, saying part of the transformation here is, could we now have a few weeks of healthy money flow? The Venus aspects bringing, more abundance, more possibility for opportunities opening up that move us in positive directions. So we'll see that going on through the end of November into the very first several days of December. We have a first quarter moon on the 27th. That first quarter moon in Pisces brings our awareness to what we really must let go of in order to move forward with new inspiration. So we have all this possibility that's dawning, all this breakthrough, new technology, new ways of being, new ways of expressing our work. But in order to step fully into this new cycle, what is it that we'll need to let go of? Some old ideas, some old values, perhaps some ways of doing things that just are no longer serving us. So the Mercury retrograde has been beneficial in showing us what we need to review. Mercury retrograde in Scorpio brings a continual review of past agreements and intentions, and it shows us what we need to be releasing, provides us with the awareness of how to let go. Mercury stationary direct on November 29th at 20 degrees of Scorpio. That's the turning point. Within the first few days of December, we're going to be sort of seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, I see what I need to let go of. I'm, hopefully I've become willing to do that. And I also see all the blessings that are here and the possibilities for expansion, for growth, and for, being in love with my life again, instead of being so at the effect of what's going on in the world. Over to you.
All righty. So there's a full moon comes up on the 4th of the month, and the full moon takes place in gateway number 35. Now, I said, the sun went into the gateway number 5, and this means the Earth at that time is in gateway number 35. So full moon opposite the sun, conjoining the Earth, and it's in gateway number 35. 35 is the gateway of progress. It's the gateway of moving on. Been there, done that. Let's try something different. Can we do something different here? And it basically opens up the possibility of an adventure for us. If I say, Carol and I, we've poured over this the whole next year, coming up with this name for it, birthing a new consciousness. I mean, it really is that, because technology is racing ahead. And if we don't if we just submit to it and just say, well, it's going to take over everything, we give up on our own genius, our own consciousness. It's a tool that's here for us, but we've got to be the master of it in some way or other. We've got to learn how to make it work for us, just like an extended brain or something like that, extended mind. And, it doesn't have wisdom. It just has the means to manipulate information. And the information's there. It's been collected for thousands of years. It's just, there it is. So this full moon in the 35 is basically asking us to see, right, what's really interesting for me? What is it that my soul aspires to in a way that really would be something amazing? So the 35 is in the second line, and the line is called growing. Every interaction brings potentially new experiences. And it just highlights that whole thing, there's no need to keep repeating the same old thing all the time. It's like every interaction brings potentially new experiences. And that's it, we're not on a merry-go-round going around the same old thing the whole time. We're here having this extraordinary life experience. And really, if there was a carpet under our feet, it's now being swiftly removed. And so what we've all been trained to do is to just play along with stuff, just to get into a state of reacting. Where this shows up in my life, this is how I'm going to react. We develop these habits. We go the same way to work every day. We brush our teeth the same way every time. We, watch the same TV shows on the dot at the same time. We drink the same booze. And it's basically saying life is an adventure. And the 35 in its real form is the gateway of adventure. And it's just saying the moment we move out of habit and reaction, and this is very much the work that Carolyn and I are doing these days, what we call the karma clearing by design, and literally shaking up all these old habits that we've had that are embedded in us, that we greet the same person the same way every time, and just we see them in the same light every time, instead of saying, hang on a minute, that was yesterday. How about today? Maybe if I approach life in an engaged way, in a present tense way, then all kinds of things can change in my world.
But not just simple habits, but embedded, deeply embedded generations worth of patterns that the karma clearing work brings up to the surface for healing and releasing. So very, very powerful time to be doing this.
So we've had some truly extraordinary results with it. On the 6th, the sun goes into the 5th line of the 5th gateway. And the 5th gateway, like I was saying before, it's the gateway of being in time with the universe. It's yielding, it's waiting for right moments to interact. And the 5th line opens up this life thing we call separation. And it's basically seeing there's a nudge here, to recognize I've got gifts and talents that I haven't necessarily been pulling up to the front in my life. I've just been kind of going along with stuff. And separation, basically, you put your stake in the ground and just say, I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to catch a different rhythm in my life. I'm going to do something in a very different way. As I said, Pluto does this movement into the 41. This kind of sets a new pace for us, opens up a new doorway for us. 41 to me is the start codon in the genetics that we have. It really is. Energetically, Pluto going in the 41 for the first time. It's significant. It really is. It's opening up this whole new possibility for us to just apply ourselves towards a different vision in life. Sun moves on a little bit further, goes into gateway number 26, and we have this life thing we call rulership. If ever there was a calling to take charge of one's own life, it's when the sun goes into rulership. And at the same time, Neptune starts going direct, goes direct into gateway number 25, which I was talking about, this whole quality of innocence. You know, the only thing I know is I don't know, and therefore I put my trust into life, and I'm grateful for having this life and see what life wants to play for me, and engaging more and more with it, moving out of the habits, moving out of the reactions, and moving more and more into the engagement of it. And here, with the sun in the rulership life theme, you know, really taking charge of my life. Here I am.
Is that over to me now?
Over to you.
Alrighty. So yeah, this full moon is a really powerful full moon. It happens on the 4th of December. Full moon, 13 degrees of Gemini opposite the sun at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. And what's particularly powerful about this full moon is that it's in an exact right angle with the moving soul path for all humanity. So the moving soul path for humanity, now moving us out of the energy of Virgo, which is this energy where we have to sort of mentally keep track of everything, mentally analyze everything, and catalog, and moving us into Pisces, which is a sign of surrendering to spirit, just letting go to the higher frequency of spirit essence. So if we are living our life in a Virgo kind of way, then we're planning our life and we're executing on our plans, and we're sort of we're kind of trying to make our life happen. What we're being invited to do, and especially at this full moon, is to let go of that and to allow life to flow through us. That there's a divine concordance. You know, we are spirit essence. In pure form, we are light beings. Here in a physical body, having an experience, you know, and what we can do right now at this apex where humanity is, you know, really coming alive, waking up, becoming aware, soul aware. What we can do is we can let go of those old ways of being, of approaching life, and trust life to guide us. And of course, here's where our human design is such a helpful tool. I know it was given to us for these times of the awakening of humanity, because it helps us to rapidly get back to in alignment with what our true nature is and to live from our true nature. So this full moon is giving us this opportunity to return to our true nature. It's challenging us to move from the realization of what is needed to now to full on, you know, hands-on implementation. So it's one thing to be aware of what's needed in terms of consciousness shifts and all of that. But it's another thing to step into it and bring it to life and live it. And so that's the challenge of this time. The full moon is illuminating also this big flowing grand trine I've been talking about. And I'm talking about it a lot because it is so dominant. It's the kind of dominant astrological signature of this time, all the way from mid-November to mid-December. It's a powerful aspect that really is a blessing for us. It's in these flowing water signs. It's going to be active for all the way until mid-December. And it gives us an opportunity to vision a new way forward in the light of this rapidly moving societal changes that we're experiencing. Mars, the planet that has to do with our work, or if we own a business, the way that we do our business, it has to do with implementation. And it moves into a really highly challenging aspect with Saturn and Neptune. So what that aspect is doing is it's urging us to confront our own inertia and take inspired action. To don't let yourself be so frozen with the shock of what's going on in the world right now. Wake up, remember who you are at essence, come back to your soul essence and live from there. And, confront that tendency to human tendency to inertia and take inspired action. That's the power of this Mars in Sagittarius. Venus also in Sagittarius has been in some flowing aspects with Neptune and also with Pluto, the planet of pure power. And it's forming an exact turning point on December 2nd. That's inspiring new pathways for money flow. We might have whole new ways of experiencing currency in short order, like it could happen in this coming year, 2026, 2027. Mars also in Sagittarius, along with Venus, in harmony with Chiron. And Chiron is the body and space that has to do with the linking, the process, the human potential to link our lower self, our ego-driven nature, with our higher self, our spirit nature. So that harmony that can come from healing old ways of being, old beliefs that we've been carrying around that simply aren't true anymore, that we have the blessing to be able to now let go of. So this full moon is going to illuminate all of that for us.
Indeed, a very powerful full moon, opening up all kinds of different possibilities for us. And just following on from that, I was talking last about the life theme of rulership and taking charge of one's life. And in the latter part of the sun going through the 26th, it goes into this life theme we call confrontation. I'm very familiar with this particular life theme because there's a number of close people to me in my life that have this life theme. And to me, it's always a joke in a way. Confrontation can happen in two different ways. Confrontation is in your face. Don't you dare come at me like that. Or we could say confrontation is about, well, I see what's going on here, I know how to fix it. So it's just that thing of stepping up with the right attitude to be able to fix things. It's not about having fights with people. It's about engaging with life from intelligence and just seeing, there's nothing that comes my way that can't be reconciled in some way or other, can't be worked out one way or another. That getting into violence or fighting is the very last possibility of that, when all kinds of possibilities have failed. So at the same time, Mars and Mercury do a little bit of a dance in the channel, the 1034. And the 1034 is this channel of following one's own convictions. So doubling down on this energy of confrontation is the possibility to recognize, I have the power in me to follow my own convictions. Whatever is dealt out to me, whatever I've been told about life, I always have the means to reconcile, to engage with the situation from a loving perspective, from a truthful perspective, from a perspective that comes off. So confrontation. This is something that can happen to all of us, that a situation comes up, what do we do about it? How do we engage with it? How do we sort things out? How do we find our way through it? And so just this reminder, life gives us the possibility to always step up in situations. And so the life theme of confrontation gives us that opportunity. We've already said, I'm going to take charge of my own life with the life theme of rulership. And at the same time, we have this channel of following our own convictions, Mars and Mercury doing this little dance for a few days. Sun moves on. After confrontation, it goes into the Garden of Eden. And it's one of these life themes. The sun is in gateway number 11 here. And 11 is full of ideas of how things could be, how life could be so amazing, imagination, all kinds of crazy, amazing things. And the whole sensation with this life theme of Eden is we've been thrown out of the garden. And people that have this life theme, they can spend their whole life chasing after things that actually ultimately do not bring them satisfaction. And the great thing for anyone to remember is the Garden of Eden. It's our choice. We're either in the garden or we're out. You know, whatever we experience on the outside of life is a reflection of what's going on the inside. And even if you don't believe me, science is moving more and more and more in that direction. So it's just about coming to terms with things that there so much is possible in this beautiful planet here. And it's up to us to kind of make it happen. Moving on a little bit, we have a new moon when the sun goes into gateway number 10. And this is 19th of December. And the new moon in this gateway of, well, the Chinese call it treading on the tail of a tiger. I see it as a gateway of behaviors. You know, what do we do when a challenge comes right up in our face? Do we make a big fuss about it? Do we go into a tantrum? Do we kind of do everything to avoid it? Or do we just see this is something that's normal in my life, and therefore it wouldn't have come to me if it wasn't for me to engage with it on some level, to just see, is it really important? Does it really require my engagement? So here again, we have what am I going to call it? A conjunction with planet Mars. Mars is also in this 10th gateway of behaviors. Mars is on the 6th line of it, while the new moon is taking place in the 10 with the first line. And so what is our behavior pattern? The first line says investigating, finding your place in any situation and blending in. Just, it's the whole thing about the Garden of Eden. You know, can I allow myself to be in this garden? Can I allow myself to be in this place of love and appreciation and connection with it all? Do I have to make a fuss when things show up in my life that at the first glance they don't look terribly nice? And Mars in the 10 with the 6th line is basically saying, look, you can be very elegant in how you deal with behaviors. You know, the confrontation that just came, you know, opened up the possibility to just see life does not have to be an ongoing problem. Life is a mystery for every single one of us. The whole point is, can we embrace that mystery and have an amazing time with it? Or are we just going to have a hissy fit and just, you know, make problems all the time? So at the same time, the sun has gone into gateway number 10, the earth goes into gateway number 15, does a little dance with Mercury for a few days in this channel, the 515, which is the channel of universal timing, literally being in the flow of life. You know, those times in life where absolutely just everything's a flow? Well, this is it. This is the possibility of it, for us to be engaging in life in that way and just seeing whatever comes up on the radar must be part of the movie here. Do I need to get involved in it and freak out? Or can I just see this is part of something I can deal with in a very elegant way when I really put myself to it? Things move on and we get to the 22nd of the month. And this is one of these signal events that takes place every, what is it, the nodes every 17 years or so. Mm-hmm. They drop into the 37 and the 40. And those of you familiar with human design saying it's family time, it's community time. It's time to embrace the people around us that are really important to us. And it drops into the 6 lines first. And the 6 lines make up this community channel of 3740. And when I see the 6 lines here, I say, this is a, you know, this is a really straightforward understanding that we all make agreements in our life, especially with family members. You know, we all play our roles. And the same thing in business. We have clients, we have the people we work with, that kind of community as well. When you get to the 6th line with this channel, it basically says, if I'm going to make an agreement with somebody, I expect a full reciprocation. That I do my thing, they do their thing, and that's it. I play my role in the family plays its role for me. Same thing in business, same thing with my clients. I show up if I make an agreement for it. And I expect other people to show up for me in my life. And it's just that basic understanding. This goes on for several months. And this particular flavor of re-engaging with community in a very important way. Family doesn't have to be political. Does not have to be, you know, according to rule systems in the world. Family is all about, you know, what are the agreements we have between ourselves? Very heartfelt, very handshake deals, very hugging, round the table breaking bread together agreements.
Lots of people we treasure in our lives.
So this energy proceeds all the way until mid-May of 2026. So just to be aware of that, the tides change on the 22nd. And it's time to recognize who's with me and who's not. Who are the people I really cherish and find, they can hold their agreements with me, and who are the ones that can't.
It will be a powerful turning point for all of us when we reach that winter solstice. I'm going to back up to the third quarter moon, which is, I'm going to go back to December 11th, December 12th, the third quarter moon on the 11th, just to kind of illustrate how the astrological energies are bringing very similar kind of theme into full awakening. But what's happening at the third quarter moon, December 11th, is that all of the energy that started at the new moon and all of the energy that really has been building up since the sun left Scorpio and went into the sign of Sagittarius on November 21st, it's all been building up to, we talked about that full moon. And when we get now to about the middle of December, we're in this third quarter moon phase. And essentially what that is a time, okay, we've had the realization, we've seen the handwriting on the wall, we've had this huge grand trine, this flowing energy, showing us, those of us who are willing to go deep and really look and let go of the old so we can see the new, showing us the new pathway forward. So now the third quarter moon asks us to go ahead and make those changes. Although a lot of favorable aspects are going to continue to flow throughout December. This week, this middle week of December, is what brings the final days of this huge grand triangle that we've been enjoying, and that has inspired all this new innovation and brought breakthroughs in our ways of managing almost every area of our life, from our values, our finances, our love relationships, our beliefs, spiritual awakening, and healthy family dynamics. So it's had a huge effect of just catalyzing so much, bringing it into our awareness and showing us where we really need to focus and bring our love and our attention. At this third quarter moon, there's a challenging aspect with, we've got the moon in 20 degrees of Virgo opposite Saturn, and then square in a right angle to the sun and Mars. Essentially, that's just saying it's stressing like the urgency to overcome complacency. And it inspires us to step up with some really decisive new actions and choices towards an inspired vision. So if we've been going deep within, that inspired vision will have arrived by now. And now it's a matter of, okay, are we going to, symbolically roll up our sleeves and get to work on this inspired vision, make a contribution, be a part of, as they say, a solution rather than being a part of the problem. So there are many favorable aspects that do continue throughout the month. We'll be talking about them in a minute. But the opportunity for healing any remaining beliefs or values that have been and continue to be an ongoing theme for the remainder of December and into the new year. This opportunity to heal old beliefs is an ongoing theme throughout the remainder of the month. So, over to you.
Okay. So I'm moving towards the end of the month of December, and let's kind of have a look in on Christmas. To me, it's always fascinating, the energy that moves up to Christmas, because we started out with the winter solstice on the 19th. It was coming in, or at least I think it's the 21st, isn't it? Takes place. Mm-hmm. The sun in gateway number 10, this gateway of behaviors, and the life theme in that time is the vessel of love, and it's just reminding us, this is a very precious time of the year, whether you're looking at a Christian, calendar, or a Roman calendar, or a pagan calendar. It's basically that time of the year where it's for celebration, it's for getting together, it's for really appreciating each other's place in our lives. So the life theme of the vessel of love, at the same time that the life theme for the the destiny path of the whole of humanity is shifting and reminding us of, who are the really important people in our life and how do we honor them and how do they honor us and appreciate us. So sun goes on and enters into, on Christmas Day, on the 25th, it enters into gateway number 58, which is the gateway of joy. Is that a kind of wondrous thing? It's the season of joy, goodwill to all men and women. And it opens up this life theme we call service. And so it's this thing of recognizing when we're in a state of joy, we're bringing an atmosphere of service into the world. We're reminding ourselves, what is it that motivates us in the very core of things? It's that delight to have the life experience, that we're in a joyous space, however that comes to us. And so the life theme of service goes on all the way through Christmas, all the way up till the 29th of the month, where we get into this life theme we call demands. And it may seem a kind of unusual title for it to kind of end up the year, demands. What are we demanding? We're demanding that humanity steps up. We're coming up to a new year. We're coming up to a whole new possibility. We're birthing a new consciousness in 2026. That's on the cards anyhow. So ending up the year with this resolution, if you will. It's not necessarily a New Year's resolution. It's just a resolution inside ourselves that I'm going to step up. Whatever the horizon looks like, whatever the forecasts look like, what everyone's talking about on the news or anything like that, I'm stepping up in my own world, in my own appreciation of things. And so I'm prepared to enter into 2026 ready, equipped inside myself with a resolution just to step up, whatever life calls for me to do and play out.
Yeah, and to play full out. Yeah. To bring the totality of our being.
In a sense, you could say with the coming of AI and the possibility it's going to take over so many things, our JOBs and things like that, what's the other side of it? Do we finally get a life? Do we finally kind of find that we have more leisure time and that we can actually engage with our creativity? So who knows what the coming of AI is going to do? But the bottom line that Carol and I came to is that we have to rearrange our consciousness. We have to kind of accept things in a very, very different way.
Well, I think it's going to free us to use more of the creative side of our brain. Science tells us that we're only using about 10% of our mental capacity. So what about this other 90%? So if AI can do the tasks and the activities that take so much of our time, if AI can do that, then how much time and space does that leave us to go into the creative side of our being? So I think that's very much what's possible. Well, I want to take a look before we end up here at the very last bit of December at the new moon that happens, you mentioned it, that happens on December 19th. And I also want to say we'll be back with you again for our broadcast on Saturday, December 20th. Oh, and this month in December, actually coming up, we're going to be with you twice because we're going to do another production on Saturday, December 6th. We're going to be doing our energies and opportunities of the year. So we're going to be looking at an overview of the entire year of 2026. You're all invited. It'll be Saturday, the 6th of December, 9:30. Invite your friends. Come and take a look at what this extraordinary year is going to have in store for us. And then again, 2 weeks after that, we'll be back with you on December 20th for our look at, the remainder of December and our look at January 2026. But for now, I just want to dip back into the winter solstice.
Yes.
So the winter solstice happens on December 21st. So first of all, we have this new moon, 28 degrees of Sagittarius, the last little bit of Sagittarius, Venus there also. The new moon is in a right angle with Saturn and Neptune. And again, this is echoing what you've already said, Shatan, which is that it's time to make a decision if we're going to play full out, if we're going to bring our full capacity, our full inspiration, the height of everything that we're capable of doing, achieving, accomplishing, and being. Are we going to play full out in life? That's essentially what this right angle is saying. I left behind the old ways of doubting ourselves, or hiding from life, and really stepping into fully our capacity as co-creative beings. And we still have some very, very flowing aspects all through the remainder of December. We've got Jupiter in this beautiful sign of Cancer, bringing this sense of family, of community, of the values that really matter to us, family and home and security and safety, and the importance of those primary relationships in our life, and how they nurture us, and how they support us, and how they support our growth, and how they support society's growth. Along with all of that, huge innovation happening, big breakthroughs, scientific breakthroughs, breakthroughs in biology, breakthroughs in physics, breakthroughs, I'm sure, more breakthroughs with AI. I mean, we're going to see new forms of energy. We're probably not going to have to pay an energy bill much longer. We're going to have free energy. So many breakthrough things just right on the verge, and with medicine as well. We're going to have cures for a lot of major diseases that we've been trying to figure out for the last 20, 30 years. So hold on to your hats. It's going to be an exciting, exciting time, an exciting new year. And we'll be back with you to look further at the last week of December, and then into all of January 2026. It's been a joy, as always, to be with you, to get to illuminate a bit for you. Hopefully it's been valuable for you to be able to get an overview of the energies, how they're moving, and to be reminded that you're here as part of the co-creation. You have something to contribute, and we invite you, and we invite ourselves to bring our full contribution. Much love to all, many blessings. Have a lovely, lovely holiday season.